my life, it's like living a death sentence. This is no life for anyone.
Get up and walk.
Push. Falling.
If she act like a kid, you treat her like a kid. At your weight, it's a miracle that you're alive. And my big concern right now is the painkillers he's been taking are very strong. This is going to be your last chance. Do this or that's it.
Imagine stepping onto a scale and it just gives up, waving a white flag instead of showing a number. Welcome to the wild world of My 600 Pounds Life, where Shawn Milliken's name will forever be remembered as the biggest patient to ever grace the show. Shawn's journey was a chaotic roller coaster, needing 2 people to help with basic hygiene or your skin tearing under the sheer weight of your own body. That was Shawn's grim reality. It makes you wonder, how on earth does someone reach that point? Hello, everyone! Before diving into today's episode, featuring some of the extra large patients on My 600 Pound Life, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of these jaw-dropping stories. Ready? Let's get started!
I can get up, but I can only walk a few steps. So I just stay here in this bed no matter what. I can't do anything for myself anymore.
How you doing, sweetie? I just like Shawn has to just totally be taken care of from head to toe. You know, everything has to be done for him.
I only move when I have to because it hurts to do anything.
Growing up was a nightmare for Shawn. Emotional struggles, a verbally abusive father, and a mother battling her own food issues. Despite her own struggles, Shawn's mom fed his unhealthy habits by constantly bringing him fast food and snacks. And here we thought love was all you needed. Clearly, a little less TLC and a bit more tough love might have done wonders.
Ready, babe? Hang on, I gotta get my shoulder into this. Okay. All right. He's very difficult to move, and it's very hard for me to lift this large mass on his side and get underneath it and clean properly. When you get a chance, I need a dry washcloth. Got it in my eye.
All right, you okay, Shawn? No. The hardest part for me is when I have to lean over.
Things got even messier when Shawn's parents split. At just 10, he sought comfort in food, a solace that quickly spiraled out of control. By high school, he weighed a staggering 400 pounds. A fall resulting in a severe leg injury left him bedbound, and binge eating became his only escape. Shawn's weight just kept climbing. It's like a tragic comedy where the punchline is your own expanding waistline.
I couldn't go to the store without bringing him home a treat. I have an eating issue myself, and it's hard to fix in someone else what's wrong with you.
I started putting on a lot of weight, and by the time I was 9, I was probably 150 pounds. And then when I was 10 years old, my mom and dad split up.
I realized it wasn't healthy for Shawn to stay around his father.
Deep down, Shawn knew he was fighting a losing battle against his food addiction. That's when he and his mom decided to seek help from Dr. Nowzaradan in Houston. Getting Shawn to the hospital was a saga in itself. He was in so much pain. They had to check him in right in the lobby. I can only imagine the spectacle.
And my senior year in high school, I had a really bad leg injury. I fell down some stairs, my ankle twisted, and I had 2 detached ligaments in my leg. And that injury made me bedbound and prevented me from finishing my senior year. It's been 8 years since that happened, and I've been trapped in this bed and I've been getting bigger and bigger.
Standard scales were no match for Shawn. Enter the bed scale, which revealed a shocking 919 pounds. Dr. Now's reaction? He was probably thinking, "Shawn, it's a miracle you're still here." Dr. Now put him on a strict diet, allowing only 800 calories a day, aiming for Shawn to lose at least 100 pounds in a few months. But the real question was, would he be able to stick to this diet? Spoiler alert, not really.
Please stop. I can't go any further. Stop.
Somebody take that. Thank you.
Shawn, you feeling okay?
No, I'm in extreme pain.
What's the matter?
Everything. I'm not used to staying in a wheelchair.
Okay, you don't want to go any further. I will examine you here.
I've had to do more of the last 20, 15 minutes.
Despite Dr. Now's clear instructions, Shawn and his mom couldn't kick their fast food habit. 2 months later, Shawn's weight had escalated to a jaw-dropping 1,003 pounds. This alarming increase landed him back in the hospital, where he managed to shed 259 pounds. A glimmer of hope amidst the chaos.
Looks like you're 919 pounds. You may be the heaviest person alive right now. This is not a good place to be. At your weight, it's a miracle that you're alive. Both Shawn and his mom claim they're ready to make change. But I'm not seeing any evidence of that. He can get up and he can start to choose to do things on his own.
After 8 months of hard work, Shawn had dropped a whopping 367 pounds, bringing him down to 636 pounds, making him eligible for weight loss surgery. Fast forward, and Shawn seemed to be on the right track, weighing in at 548 pounds. We all thought, he's doing it! It seemed he was finally on the path to reclaiming his life. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it?
And his weight going in the right direction. You and your mom has not made a single positive change as far as I can tell. So I'm admitting you to the hospital immediately so we can get your health under control. This is going to be your last chance. Do this or that's it.
We will be able to do it.
I'm going to admit him to the hospital and start him on 800-calorie diet per day for next couple of months. If we don't, his body is going to give out any day now.
Shawn's mom passed away in 2017, and it threw him off course. Losing a parent is devastating enough, but dealing with that kind of grief when your life is already a constant struggle? The loss made sticking to his diet and weight loss plan super tough, leading to a heartbreaking backslide. Shawn passed away in 2019, weighing over 1,000 pounds. His journey is a powerful reminder of the battles many folks are silently fighting. It's a story of ups and downs, loss and resilience, and it's one we won't forget anytime soon.
You ready to get your weight checked?
I have worked pretty hard for this moment.
You're down to 583. This is good. And you're under 600 pounds. All right?
Wow, that's awesome.
Marla McCants, a woman from Nashville, flipped her life upside down in the most jaw-dropping way. When we first met Marla on My 600 Pounds Life, she was in a dire situation, weighing around 800 pounds and pretty much glued to her bed. But stick around because Marla's journey is nothing short of extraordinary.
Out, lymphedema, diabetes.
I'll check my sugar level. 152, that's high.
And I am on oxygen at night, or I'll stop breathing. My body is just breaking down. I hate this. I hate living like this.
Now, Marla's weight struggle wasn't just about food. It was fueled by a genuinely terrifying past. She had an abusive boyfriend who literally took her hostage. This guy was so off the rails that he even went after the cops. Living every day, scared out of her mind, Marla turned to the one comfort she knew: food. And not just any food, but the most indulgent junk food you can imagine. This unhealthy coping mechanism sent her weight skyrocketing, and she ended up relying heavily on her 3 daughters. But could Marla escape this vicious cycle?
I tried to break up with my boyfriend at the time. He lost it, and he took me hostage. He held me at gunpoint, and I thought I was gonna die. When the police tried to rescue me, he shot 2 officers and escaped.
Fed up with living in fear and ready for a massive change, Marla, pushed by her family, took a bold step. They packed up and set out on a 13-hour journey to Houston to get help from the one and only Dr. Nowzaradan. But reaching Houston was just the beginning. Marla was in such a bad shape upon arrival that she was struggling to breathe and utterly exhausted. The million-dollar question, could Marla really turn things around?
Yeah, this is Dr. Nowzaradan. Who is this? I'm calling you about Marla's condition. Her condition worsened, and early this morning she stopped breathing, and we moved her to ICU. Marla's health has continued to decline. We put her on a breathing machine, and we have her stable right now.
Dr. Now, in his no-nonsense style, put Marla on an extremely strict 1,000-calorie-a-day diet. And let's be honest, the man doesn't sugarcoat things, probably because sugar was off Marla's diet. Despite some stumbles along the way, like skipping physical therapy sessions and occasionally falling off the diet wagon, Marla's story began to shift in a positive direction. It looked like she was finally on the path to getting healthier.
Marla has learned how to manipulate system around her and get everybody to do everything for her. I'm hoping that sending her home will be a wake-up call.
Sierra, Marla's daughter, moved in to offer support and a hefty dose of motivation. With Sierra by her side, Marla started to see real progress. She was driven by the desire to change her life, not just for herself, but for her family. Her hard work paid off, and by the show's end, she had dropped an incredible 266 pounds. Now that's what I call progress.
Hey, is this Dr. Now's office? Yes, can I leave him a message? Hey, Dr. Now, this is Sierra, Marla's daughter. She really hasn't been following the orders you gave her once she left the hospital. She's not making an effort to stand up, so I'm just really concerned about her. Can you please talk to her when you get a chance? Thank you. I'm really scared my mom doesn't have much more time.
But the story doesn't end there. Marla continued her weight loss journey, eventually shedding nearly 600 pounds. Her transformation was so remarkable that she now travels across America as a motivational speaker, sharing her story and inspiring others to believe in the possibility of change. She's a shining example that no matter how trapped you feel by your circumstances, there's always a way out.
Keep going, you're almost there.
Keep going, you're almost there.
All right.
There you go. Good job.
I'm so proud of myself. Makes me feel like I can do anything.
About 300 pounds less, huh? Can you tell the difference?
Yeah.
Just a little bit, huh? Marla is going in the right direction, and I'm confident she'll be able to keep making progress. Wonderful.
She did really good.
You're in good shape.
Enjoying the story so far? Give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you think Marla's journey was intense, wait till you hear the story of Robert Buchel. Let's dive back into the action and see just how far determination can take you. From Forked River, New Jersey, Robert weighed in at a staggering 840 pounds, about as heavy as a small car. His journey on My 600 Pounds Life marked him as one of the biggest challenges Dr. Nowzaradan had ever faced. But the scale wasn't Robert's only enemy. He was also battling a severe painkiller addiction. Let's take a closer look at how his story unfolded, shall we?
First thing I think of when I wake up in the morning is that I feel blessed and shocked at the same time, because it's almost unbelievable that I woke up. The pain I feel when I wake up is all over. And I feel sometimes that I can't take or live this life one more minute.
Hey, Catherine?
Yeah.
I go to the bathroom.
All right.
Robert was a fighter, no doubt about it. He had a heart full of love and dreams, particularly his dream of marrying his fiancée, Catherine. She was his rock, helping him with daily tasks and always cheering him on. Then there was Robert's mom, the emotional glue holding everything together. But let's be real, too much help can sometimes backfire. It's like being smothered with love to the point you can't breathe.
I'm trapped in this body, I call it prison. I am trapped in myself. And the tasks that Catherine has to endure every day just to even take care of me I can see it wearing down herself. It's certainly not what she signed up for, coming into my life. But that's the position I forced us both into right now.
When Robert realized things were spiraling out of control, he reached out to Dr. Nowzaradan. Dr. Now, probably thinking, "Oh boy, here we go again," admitted him to the hospital. Robert started a strict diet and faced his painkiller addiction head-on. Seriously, who knew those tiny pills could wreak such havoc, causing stomach ulcers and a whole lot of misery?
The biggest one being the amount of painkillers he had in his system. It's the highest I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot. And that alone has deteriorated his body significantly. On top of the amount of weight he has on him. But I don't think he even realizes the amount of painkillers he's been taking in. And my big concern right now is the painkillers he's been taking are very strong.
Robert began to turn things around, starting with bed exercises. After 3 months in the hospital, he managed to drop down to 625 pounds. Not too shabby, right? Dr. Now's next move was to send him to rehab to get off the painkillers and encourage more movement. The million-dollar question: could Robert keep it up?
But then when the realization of just the prison I've been in all these years, it certainly makes it easier coming here and knowing what I have to do and get done. The most thing I worry about is definitely getting qualified for surgery. I know the doctor wants me to certainly get my weight down. That's why I'm making every effort I possibly can to reach that goal of surgery in time. Like, my arms are hurting me right now. Like, it's been years since I've done any kind of try to pull up.
What really drove Robert was his dream of marrying Catherine. They had vowed to each other and to their late fathers that they would walk down the aisle. This journey wasn't just about losing weight. It was about love and redemption. It's like a twisted love story with calories and painkillers as the villains. Will he be able to keep that promise?
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Dr. Nowzaradan, how you doing?
How are you?
All right.
Let's see what the weight is at today. It looks like you're down to 625.
Wow.
That's super. We have you down over 200 pounds since you got here. So, like we discussed, today we will have a transport coming to take you to the rehab facility.
Okay.
To help get you up and walking more.
Okay.
But let's be honest, life loves to throw curveballs. 9 months in, the struggle started to wear on Robert, both mentally and physically. After surgery to remove a lymphedema mass, he hit rock bottom, sabotaging his recovery in a desperate attempt to score more painkillers. Talk about a plot twist no one saw coming.
Today we are doing lymphedema removal on Robert to take off the large mass on his right side. He will still have the left one because it will be too much for his body to remove both in the same surgery. So if he does well with this one, we can remove the other one in 5 or 6 weeks.
Tragically, Robert's battle ended on November 15th, 2017. He died from a heart attack at only 41 years old, just 5 months into his time on the show. When his episode aired in 2018, it shattered viewers' hearts. Dr. Now praised Robert's determination, but also pointed out how the medical system's flaws had fueled his addiction. Robert's story is a brutal reminder of the dangers lurking in addiction.
At least let me do it now. Next year we were planning to get married when he was okay and walking and better. And again, that reality had to set in this morning that it's not gonna happen. Everything that we were planning is gone. Absolutely everything. And I don't know how to process the fact that I lost.
Imagine stepping on the scale and seeing a number so high it feels like the universe is playing a cruel joke on you. That's what happened to Julius J.T. Clark from Claremore, Oklahoma, who clocked in at an earth-shattering 892 pounds at the tender age of 32. Let's be real, this guy was almost tipping the scales into another dimension.
Because it's what I live for now, and it's all I want to do, and I can't start my day until I've had something. So when my girlfriend Jessica wakes up, she usually gets up before me and heads out, but she never leaves me without leaving something I like by the bed. Nothing else I can do can compete with how good it feels to be eating.
Because food comforts me better than people can,
And it's the only thing that...
When JT showed up on the show, it was like a heavyweight showdown. Everyone was floored. This guy wasn't just big, he was hauling around a 100-pound lymphedema mass like a personal backpack. During a month in the hospital, JT dropped 100 pounds. That's like misplacing a medium-sized human. Impressive, right? But hold your applause because life wasn't done throwing JT into the ring.
But as hard as it is, getting up out of bed is the easy part. Because not only do I have all the weight of my body pulling down on me, I also have severe lymphedema on my left leg. I can't walk properly because my lymphedema pushes against both of my legs. It hurts constantly. And I can only stand for maybe 15 minutes at a time.
His girlfriend broke up with him and JT plunged into a depression so deep, it might as well have had its own zip code. Dr. Now, the guardian angel of morbidly obese individuals, suggested rehab. But let's face it, rehab for someone with food addiction can be like sending a pyromaniac to a firework factory. The real question was, could JT resist the siren call of takeout in rehab?
It makes me feel like I have to bottle everything up. I love JT a lot, and that's what makes it hard.
How you feel about me leaving?
Stressed. I told you, this ain't gonna be easy. This is gonna be literally torture. And I'm definitely not gonna be easy to cope with during it.
Well, it comes off to me as you don't care, and it hurts.
Well, I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert. He couldn't. JT found every loophole and smuggled in takeout, shedding a pitiful 10 pounds in 2 months. That's like running a marathon and only burning off a single cheeseburger. When Dr. Now found out, JT was in total denial, swearing up and down that he hadn't gained weight. It was like watching a kid with cookie crumbs all over his face denying he touched the cookie jar. Classic.
I was told by Dr. Now that I'm getting transferred to a rehabilitation center. Yeah. Probably just try to look for apartments while there. I'm just gonna find out a way to get my stuff down here.
We can figure something out. I've known JT all my life, and I came down to Houston because Jess is gone, and I'm here to take her spot.
Feeling trapped and desperate, JT was itching to get home and tackle his weight loss on his own turf. His cravings were through the roof, and Dr. Now's serious warnings were like background noise at this point. Ignoring the doctor's advice was a risky move, but JT seemed determined to walk on the wild side.
Ellie, this is your life. This is your health. Okay. And you are responsible for it, and we're giving you help and tools to change your life and be healthy, and you're making all kind of nonsense reason not to follow diet, right? Make sense?
Sure.
It does?
Yes.
To you?
Yes.
Okay. There's no hope for you. You're gonna kill yourself young.
Okay.
Okay?
Noted.
Despite his stubbornness, JT eventually got a huge helping hand from Dr. Now and his crew. With their support, JT's story took a turn for the better. After weight loss surgery, he managed to drop around 400 pounds, bringing his weight down to 491 pounds. That's a massive change, right? But let's not kid ourselves. He still weighed more than 2 linebackers combined.
And kill himself with food. Or whether he wants to start to truly make the changes he needs to save his life. But we can't keep him here forever. So he's going to decide which path he wants to go down.
I guess I'm still not getting out of here anytime soon. None of this is going like I thought it would. And the harder I try, the worse things get.
Post-show, JT became a bit of a social media sensation, sharing his journey and struggles with depression. He hoped to inspire others, but let's be honest, his story is a mix of triumph and a cautionary tale about human stubbornness. He occasionally updates his followers on Facebook, but keeps it low-key because, let's face it, how many times can you post about eating a salad without it getting old? If you found these incredible stories as mind-blowing as we did, don't forget to smash that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And for more jaw-dropping transformations and behind-the-scenes scoops, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more amazing stories.
My hopes are up that I can get out of here today and go back to having a little more freedom again.
Hi, JT.
Hello.
How you feeling today?
Doing okay.
All right, so ready to go home?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see where your weight is at, and then we can get you on your way, okay?
Okay.
Let me bring the scale and we check your weight. For 4 months, I have seen you from day one. You haven't lost any weight. Plus, the hospital staff not only seen you eating pizza. Do you think I'm stupid? I don't understand that when you
send me back home. Send me back home. No, I'm not about to do this.
For that, man.
And he needs medical help. And we're not gonna let this Stevens, but
Can I please have another chance?
no.
Let's talk about Sheeny Murray, a name that has become synonymous with defiance and resistance. Now, imagine growing up as the only kid in the house. Sounds like a dream, right? All the attention, all the love. But for Sheeny, it was anything but. Her early years took a nosedive into darkness when she was just 5 years old. At that young age, she was unfortunately raped by her cousin. And from that moment, her life took a tragic turn.
There was one time where we was at my uncle's house and I was molested by my cousin. I didn't know as a child what was going on. Schenee had came from the basement and she started kind of whining, and she was touching her front area. She was hurting.
Now, let's reflect on that trauma. Imagine little Sheeny, eyes filled with tears, running from the basement to her mother, who instantly knew something was wrong. The visit to the doctor revealed a heartbreaking truth, one that would shape Shenee's relationship with food forever. Food became her solace, her escape from a world that seemed so cruel. But what starts as comfort can easily become a prison, and for Sheeny, that's exactly what happened.
Inside, I felt terrible, but I just hid all my feelings in. I started sneaking food right after that incident. Food made me feel better. It made me feel happy. So then I started putting on weight. And when I was 7, I was about 130 pounds. When I was in elementary, my teacher did throw away my lunch because I was too fat.
Fast forward to her appearance on the show, and it's clear that Sheny's commitment to change was, let's say, less than solid. Despite Dr. Now's relentless efforts and a clear roadmap to recovery, Sheeny seemed to be stuck in her old habits. It's almost as if she was playing a game of resistance, testing how far she could push before things would break.
You're still eating whatever you want, whenever you want.
Not necessarily all the time.
All right, I don't think you're grasping how dangerous your situation is, Schenee. And with all the health issues you got, you may not even make it to 30. You're not even trying. Did you even reduce a single thing in your diet?
I cut pork out, and I started eating crab meat and shrimp.
But here's where it gets really juicy. Schenee wasn't just struggling, she was outright cheating on her diet. Even in a hospital setting, with all the resources at her disposal, her husband turned into her partner in crime. Picture this: pizzas and burgers being smuggled in right under the nose of medical staff. The audacity. Naturally, Dr. Now's reaction was less than thrilled. The tension was palpable, and viewers at home were taken on a roller coaster of emotions.
Here's the situation.
Okay.
For 4 months, I have seen you from day one. You haven't lost any weight. Plus, the hospital staff not only seen you eating pizza, but burgers, and then you smart enough not to throw it your own trash, throw it in somebody else's trash.
It was me that ate it. She didn't eat any of that.
You both need to stop lying. You came here to have weight loss surgery. You haven't lost any weight in 4 months. Why?
I'm telling you, doctor, I got water weight.
You should have lost 130 pounds by now.
The real kicker, Schenee didn't get the green light for weight loss surgery. And boy, Was she unhappy about it? Instead of taking it as a wake-up call, she started skipping appointments, giving psychologists the cold shoulder, and eventually, even Dr. Now wasn't spared. When he tried to check on her progress, she threw him a curveball, questioning his beliefs in God. And then, in an act of ultimate defiance, she hung up on him. Who does that to the one person trying to help them?
It's not true.
No, I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you simple science, and you don't want to listen, so don't try to teach me medicine.
Oh, I'm not trying to teach you medicine, but I'm trying to teach you about my body. Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you believe in God?
What does that have to do with this discussion? What I'm telling you is not a matter of faith. It's a matter of medicine and science and physiology.
And I understand that, but do you believe in God?
But wait, the story doesn't end there. Schenee decided to take her story to YouTube, becoming a vlogger and claiming she's shedding pounds on her own terms. Fact or fiction? That's up for debate. What's undeniable is that Schenee was one of the most defiant and stubborn stars to ever grace the show. Her story is a whirlwind of resistance and rebellion, a case study in how not to follow a weight loss plan.
Please leave your message.
Yeah, Freddie, this is Dr. Nowzaradan. Schenee missed her appointment, didn't show up, and I'm calling to find out what's going on. Once again, Schenee has missed her appointment.
Now, we all know Dr. Now is famous for his relentless dedication and tough love approach, but sometimes even his patience is put to the test. One such case that really tested him was Ryan Barkdahl's. Oh boy, where do we even start with Ryan? Ryan Barkdahl's life was a constant struggle, but let's be honest, a lot of his problems were self-inflicted. Ryan's inability to follow through on his promises drove Dr. Now up the wall.
I've never really felt like I was full. That's a feeling I never get, so I only stop when I run out. But if I didn't, then I could keep eating and eating and eating. By the time that I finish the meal that I'm eating, I'm already thinking about the next meal. Like when I'm eating breakfast, I ask my mom what we're having for lunch. But I need to know what's in line and what's next. Because I already can't wait to eat again, even though I just did. So my whole day basically revolves around me eating and drinking and how I'm going to get more of it. And that's what drives me. And that's what consumes my thoughts.
Picture this, a man who can barely lift himself out of his recliner, glued to it like it's the only thing keeping him alive. Ryan's journey into obesity wasn't a quick fall. It was more of a slow-motion car crash, starting from his childhood days. His mother and stepfather didn't exactly set the gold standard in parenting. Here's a tip. If you're going to have kids, at least try not to screw them up completely.
It always made me feel like I was this burden or problem he wanted gone. And then my choice from that was to turn to food, because it always made me feel better, you know? You feel bad, you eat a donut. And that's how I coped with a lot of things. Turned to food to get the comfort that I was looking for, and it filled that void, so food became my best friend. So I started to eat a lot, and I started gaining from that. At first it was slow. It just seemed like I was a little overweight.
Ryan didn't have much support, and in his lowest moments, food became his solace. By the time he was 17, he wasn't just battling an addiction to food, he was also hooked on drugs, tipping the scales at over 300 pounds. That's way too much for a teenager. It's like carrying around another person all the time. Yet somewhere deep inside, Ryan found a glimmer of hope and reached out to Dr. Now for help. But as they say, actions speak louder than words.
Freshman and sophomore year, I partied pretty hard. I smoked a lot. I drank more than any parent knows I did. I was still eating all the time also. And I just got worse and spiraled more out of control. By the time I was 17, I was already up to 300 pounds. But that was a bad year for me because that was my junior year and I got caught with a gram of marijuana at school. And that led to me getting kicked off the football team.
When Ryan first met Dr. Now, he weighed in at a staggering 740 pounds. He talked a big game about wanting to change, but when it came to actually doing the work, it was a whole different story. Months went by. and the scale barely budged. Ryan was still hovering over 700 pounds, and it was clear he wasn't sticking to the plan. I mean, come on, if you're going to lie about following a diet, at least try to make it believable.
My life's a lot harder than you'd understand.
I heard that a lot of times, but that's not the issue. The issue is whether you're gonna keep making excuses and blaming everything else for your situation, or if you're ready to wake up and get your life together.
I'm ready to do what I need to get healthy, Dr. Now.
Alright, so if food is destroying your life, then what seems to be issues with your eating habits?
Dr. Now, being the ever-patient man he is, decided to give Ryan another shot. He set a goal for Ryan to get below 650 pounds. But guess what? History repeated itself. Ryan's weight barely changed. Turns out our boy Ryan had a knack for sneaky cheat days. When confronted by Dr. Now, Ryan had the audacity to blame the scale. The scale's malfunctioning, he said. Really, Ryan? The only thing malfunctioning here is your commitment.
The scale's malfunctioning. It won't give me a weight.
Is it malfunctioning, or are you still over the weight limit of the scale?
I know I made it to your goal, Dr. Now. I worked hard, so I'm at least under 650 pounds right now.
So you believe you're under 650 pounds?
That's correct.
Alright. We will agree to disagree then, because you don't look like you lost much weight since our last call. So I think the issue is that you're still over the 660 pound limit for the scale to be able to get your weight.
Ryan didn't just stop at dodging diet plans. He went all out rogue. His love for junk food was unshakable. He missed appointments, ignored calls, and chose fast food over phone chats with Dr. Now. It's like he was on a mission to sabotage himself. I mean, how do you expect to lose weight if you're stuffing your face with burgers and fries every chance you get?
But now that I made it to this point, I need to go back to how I was doing the diet before my mom intervened, where I had my cheat days. Because that got me through the first month of doing this. And not being able to have that made the last couple months way too hard. So I'm letting myself go back to my way and enjoy one day a week of whatever I want. I just want to enjoy something that tastes good and makes me feel good, and that'll get me through the rest of the week.
Despite Dr. Now's patience and his willingness to give Ryan yet another chance, Ryan's affair with junk food continued. The moment he had the house to himself, he would order large amounts of junk food, showing a clear disregard for his health and the program. It was almost as if he was daring his body to break down. The man was living in a fantasy world where he thought he could outsmart the process.
Hey, so this is the first time I've seen you call because I have you on my phone under Dr. Now, so I haven't had any missed calls from you.
Well, you miss a lot of calls from me and my office. And so what's going on with you? You were talking about coming down to Houston a few months ago, but you missed the appointment we had for you last month. And we haven't heard from you. But what happened with that?
My driver ended up not having a driver. I got it all taken care of now.
Eventually, Dr. Now had enough. Ryan's pattern of missed calls, ignored appointments, and unwavering commitment to junk food led to his removal from the program. Ryan Barkdahl's story is a masterclass in self-sabotage and missed opportunities. It's a brutal reminder of how difficult it is to align our intentions with our actions.
I guess he's not picking up the phone. And it looks like he's doing that again today. I had a call with him right now, and he's not picking up again. So it looks like he is still avoiding me and playing games. A few days after he misses each call, he sends me different excuses. First, he said he had moved to Oregon to take care of a dying friend.
If you thought Ryan Barkdahl was a handful with all his rule breaking, just wait till you meet Stephen Asanti. Trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Make sure to hit that like button if you're loving the drama so far, and subscribe to our channel for more jaw-dropping moments from my 600 pounds life. You won't want to miss what's coming up next. One name that is impossible to ignore is Stephen Asanti. Stephen's antics were legendary, starting with his stint at Rhode Island Hospital. He got himself kicked out by ordering pizza directly to his hospital room. Imagine the audacity. His dad, out of options and desperate to get Steven the help he needed, decided against taking him home. It was a life or death situation. So they hit the road seeking a miracle.
An 800-pound man from Cranston desperate for help after he says Rhode Island Hospital told him to leave.
For the past 80 days, Steven was getting the help he needed at Rhode Island Hospital. But after Steven violated his care plan by ordering pizza, Steven said the hospital told him he can no longer stay. Steven's father says taking his son home will be a death sentence, so the two men say they'll continue to drive until they find a place that can help.
I just don't know where to turn to. I called everybody.
And who do they find? Dr. Now, who probably deserves sainthood for dealing with Steven. Dr. Now agreed to take on Steven's case and welcomed them to Houston. But you could almost see the gears turning in Dr. Now's head, thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Steven tipped the scales at a jaw-dropping 730 pounds, and Dr. Now set him on a strict 1,000-calorie diet, hopeful for some real progress. But oh boy, did Steven show his true colors soon enough.
Steven Asante is being transported to my care in Houston right now, and I'm not sure what to expect. From what I understand, he suffers from severe psychological issues that make it problematic to treat him. So he's going to be a unique case.
This looks really yummy.
Within 3 months, Steven was disrespecting the staff, manipulating them for food and pain medication, and basically turning the hospital into his personal circus. Dr. Now, with his patients wearing thin, had enough. He declared it game over for Steven at the hospital. You'd think that might have been a wake-up call, but nope.
Apology mean nothing. You come here for help, and at this point, there's nothing I can do to help you. So you're done here.
I've been doing good and everything, please.
And unless you have an emergency, you will not be admitted back.
I've been good. I swear I apologize to everybody.
If you want to stay in the program, you need to find a place to stay because you're not staying here anymore. So your father needs to set you up somewhere else.
Steven moved into an apartment, which should have been a fresh start. Instead, he missed appointments, ignored Dr. Now's calls, and celebrated his newfound freedom with, you guessed it, a large pizza and Coke. Talk about a slap in the face to Dr. Now's efforts. Things took a darker turn when Steven overdosed on painkillers, trying to score more meds from another hospital. It was like he was playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse, with his life hanging in the balance.
You missed your appointment with me last week. Do you think you lost any weight?
Well, I mean, you know.
I see pizza in here. How many times you ordered pizza since you've been here?
Probably like two.
Two times that she knows. How many times that she didn't know that you ordered pizza? Don't look at her.
Well, when I first got here to the apartment, I had a pizza.
Finally, Dr. Now reached his limit. He laid down the law, telling Steven in no uncertain terms that his days of manipulation and painkiller abuse were over. Get it through your head, he warned, or you're looking at death or jail. It was a harsh but necessary reality check. Steven Asante was a one-man show of drama, defiance, and, frankly, a whole lot of annoyance. His story was a wild ride from start to finish, making him one of the most unforgettable and annoying patients the show has ever seen.
But here's the situation. This is the end of your road for now.
Okay.
You're done manipulating the system with me involved. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm suspending you from the weight loss program, and you're going from here to a drug addiction program. Because right now, there's nothing we can do to wake you up.
Buckle up, because Angela Johns' journey on the show is a wild ride of emotions, excuses, and missed opportunities that will leave you shaking your head in disbelief. Angela's life has been a non-stop battle with obesity, and And it's clear she favored junk food over anything remotely healthy. Add to that a strained relationship with her mother, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Imagine trying to stay afloat with cinder blocks tied to your feet. That's Angela's situation in a nutshell.
I used to leave the house maybe once a week, but now I'm mostly housebound because it's becoming harder to walk. My legs constantly hurt. So my daughter Desiree helps me. Desiree!
When Angela finally decided to reach out to Dr. Now, it seemed like she was ready to turn things around. But oh boy, were we in for a surprise. Angela wasn't looking for a realistic path to weight loss. She wanted a magic wand to wave her problems away. It's like wanting to be a concert pianist without ever touching a piano. You can already sense where this is heading, right?
So, are you able to be active?
No, not really. Why, I injured my knee in 2011, so my knee gives out, pops out of place. It's grinding bone on bone now.
Okay, well, the best thing to help your knee will be to lose weight.
I figured that. I know I have to lose weight to fix my knee.
Well, if you figure that then, what's holding you up so far to lose weight?
I don't know. I don't know.
Angela's journey quickly turned into a saga of missed appointments and endless excuses. She became a serial no-show, always armed with a new reason for why she couldn't make it. Dr. Now, ever the patient professional, kept giving her chances, but even his patience has limits. I mean, seriously, how many times can you let someone off the hook before you realize they're just not serious?
Since we've been back from Dr. Now's, me and my family have been trying to adjust to all the changes that we need, while also trying to figure out how to move to Houston. The deal that me and Desiree made was we'd see if Dr. Now was gonna help me. And if he was, we agreed we all moved to Houston, no matter what her boyfriend will want. But it just seems like no one's happy or on board anymore.
And the excuses? My goodness. First, it was not finding a place to stay in Houston. Then, she was too sick and needed more recovery time. Meanwhile, she's ignoring calls and messages like she's auditioning for a ghosting championship. Viewers were left wondering if Angela would ever get her act together. It's like watching a mystery thriller where the plot twists keep getting more absurd.
Regarding your weight, you need to be more proactive and you need to follow a better diet before we bring you to Houston, okay?
Okay, well,
It's gonna be important.
My U-Haul is leaving tomorrow. And let me remind you, because maybe you forgot, your weight loss was 50 pounds in 1 month, not 100 pounds. Ever did you say that to me?
I definitely did. On my call with you 2 months ago, that was the goal I gave you. So either you forgot or you're too high on something to remember.
Dr. Now, with his no-nonsense attitude, wasn't fooled by Angela's tall tales. When she claimed to have lost 120 pounds since their last meeting, you could see the doubt in his eyes. Without any real proof, their conversations turned tense. It's as if Dr. Now was trying to dig through a mountain of nonsense to find a grain of truth. Imagine Sherlock Holmes sifting through a landfill. That's how it felt.
I'm trying to not let it be a rift between us.
Hello.
Because I feel like she's failing me when I need her the most. And I've always been there for her.
Say hi, Nana.
You're coming to see Nana. And I don't want this to tear us apart. But it's hard because I'm hurt. And I feel like she's being selfish. Nana's gonna go bye-byes.
Despite avoiding Dr. Now for 6 months and showing no real progress, Angela kept insisting she was making strides. It was frustrating to watch. She had all the tools for success, but seemed more interested in finding excuses. Her story is like watching a slow-motion train wreck. You want to look away, but you're too invested in the chaos. All right, folks, if you thought these stories were wild, just wait till you see what else we have in store. Do not forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the drama, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another jaw-dropping episode of My 600 Pounds Life.
A behavior problem. Try to convince yourself it is an emotional issue that is justified. You like to act like the whole world is unfair and you don't deserve your situation. So you want to give me attitude and act like this is unfair. Go right ahead. But the only person you're gonna hurt is yourself. And that's what you're doing right now. I'm sick and tired of wasting my time coming here, bringing all the people working for you, and you do nothing. You're overeating, eating too much.
Okay, I won't overeat anymore. I will make sure that it's the 1,200 calories, because I'm gonna prove you wrong that I can do this. I'm gonna do it.
Everybody's different, but the instruction for everybody is the same. Look, help is you. It's not me.
I know that this is my last chance. I know that I'm dying. I know that I'm not gonna make it.
Hold on to your seats, folks, because Dolly Martinez's story is a wild ride filled with drama, dark turns, and a sprinkle of sheer chaos. Picture this: Dolly, only 25 years old, already facing the daunting specter of congestive heart failure and dependence on oxygen. It's like a bad joke that you just can't laugh at. She knew something had to change, so she sought out Dr. Now. Seriously, imagine needing help just to breathe. That was Dolly's grim reality right from the start. Hello, everyone! Before we dive into the jaw-dropping moments when Dr. Now absolutely loses his cool, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss the wild stories and dramatic confrontations from My 600-Pound Life that we uncover. Ready to see Dr. Now snap like never before? Let's get started.
And my feet, and my lower back, and my head. I can't even get out of bed anymore without needing help. Shy. I live with my mother, but my best friend Cheyenne helps me when she's here sometimes. Good morning. Cheyenne is a big girl like me too, so she understands where I'm coming from.
Dolly's daily grind was a bizarre mix of TV binges, endless snacking, and epic nap sessions. 8 hours glued to the screen, fueled by sugar and more sugar. If there was a medal for most sedentary lifestyle, she would have snagged gold. Her diet? Let's just say the candy aisle was her playground. Brownies, ice cream, every sweet treat you can imagine. Dolly even admitted sugar was her cocaine and heroin. That's not just a sweet tooth, that's a sugar beast unleashed.
And I liked the feeling I had when I was eating. My mom would find the wrappers and get mad at me, but there's nothing she could do, really. In kindergarten, I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, and bipolar disorder. I know that I am a little special ed because I have mental issues, but teachers made me feel like I was more special ed than I am.
And here's a twist that will make you raise an eyebrow. Dolly's husband? He actually preferred her at a larger size. Yep, you heard that right. He married her because of her weight and wasn't thrilled when she started losing it. Instead of being her rock, he was more like a boulder blocking her path. Who needs enemies with a spouse like that, right?
I had just turned 21 and I was 400 pounds. But I didn't have much income and I didn't have no place to live. And that's when I met Ricky, the man that I married. On a social media chat thread, turned out we had something in common. Because Ricky didn't have anywhere to go either. Ricky lived close to me, so we met in person. And not long after that, he invited me to come stay with him in his bedroom at his mom's, because that's where he was living at the time. Then I was like, okay.
Things took a turn for the worse when their daughter was born. Just 6 days into parenthood, Child Protective Services swooped in and took the baby away. Dolly and her husband couldn't provide a safe environment. Enter Stacy, Dolly's mom, who had to step in and pick up the pieces. Can you imagine the emotional roller coaster? It's like watching a soap opera where the hits just keep coming.
I had a baby girl named Trinity.
She's the most precious thing in ever. She's a beautiful child. Beautiful spirit. She's just full of life and full of energy. I certainly didn't know 3 years ago I was going to be a mama, basically, again. I was given this child by CPS when she was 6 days old.
Now, about that first weigh-in with Dr. Now. Dolly tipped the scales at a staggering 593 pounds. Despite the chaos at home, she made an effort to reconnect with her mom, but ended up back with her less than supportive husband. Fast forward a bit, and Dolly found herself in a homeless shelter. That's where she met Philip. Sparks flew, and within 6 weeks, they were engaged. Never mind the lack of a stable home. Love finds a way, right? Or does it?
Well, me and Philip finally found a house to move into. It took a lot longer to find an option we could afford than I thought it would. But we finally found one, which means I can go back and see Dr. Now. I was putting off my appointment with him until we found a place, because I knew he was going to give me a hard time.
Dolly's chaotic life meant she struggled to lose enough weight to get Dr. Now's approval for the surgery she desperately needed. In nearly a year, she managed to shed only 40 pounds. That's not just a slow crawl. It's more like moving in reverse on a treadmill. Dr. Now, ever the realist, couldn't give her the green light for surgery. Can you blame him? You can't operate on what's essentially a ticking time bomb of health issues and instability.
That's not reality. Reality is that you're choosing the support system with the people you don't really know. After you rejected the support system you needed with your mom. So, Mom, what happened that she left home?
I was told that I'm too controlling. I've encouraged her since she moved in with me to not overeat and to not eat what she shouldn't and to focus on herself.
All right, let's dive into the tangled web that is Jean's journey on the show where Dr. Nowzaradan had more than a few reasons to snap. Jean, 48 years old and utterly dependent on her parents for everything, was in a situation you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Seriously, imagine needing help for everything every single day. It's like living in a never-ending sitcom, except there's no laugh track, just a cloud of sadness hanging over everything.
Because it's very important, I try to stay as clean as I can, since there's a lot of areas of my body that rub and chafe and cause these sores to form and open up on me. And I can't let them get infected. Especially the area under my stomach, because of how it hangs down and rubs against me there.
Jean's backstory? Buckle up, folks, because it's a doozy. Raised by a grandmother who should have been reading bedtime stories but instead dealt out physical abuse, Jean's childhood was a horror show. And as if that wasn't enough, her mother's boyfriend decided to add sexual abuse to the mix. It's like a twisted, dark fairy tale where the evil characters actually win. So, where did Jean find solace? Food. Glorious food. Her only friend in a world that seemed determined to break her spirit. You gotta wonder how anyone survives such a start.
Because that's when I had a really traumatic experience. My mom had started dating someone then.
And he molested me. It was only a one-time thing, but the one time did damage. I remember sitting on the floor watching TV, and he came and he sat right down beside me. And he said, "This will be our little secret." And he said, "Don't ever tell your mom because she won't believe you." So I just, with everything else, I just pushed that down and,
Fast forward to a critical point in Jean's life. A life-threatening infection landed her in the hospital, where she managed to shed 53 pounds. But then the real kicker, she had to continue her weight loss journey solo, aiming to lose another 100 pounds. And life, being the cruel jester that it is, threw her a curveball, leading to a gain of 29 pounds instead. It's like running a marathon only to find out you're on a treadmill. Frustration doesn't even begin to cover it.
So all you needed to do was lose the remaining 50 pounds in 6 weeks on your own to get down to your overall goal I gave you. But instead, you gained back 29 pounds.
Yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
I mean, I had a day that I went over the 1,200 calories.
So one bad day and you gained 30 pounds? Is that what you're telling me now? Okay, wait a minute. You've seen the evidence of what you lose when you're on diet and eating what you should.
Dr. Now gave Jean another chance. She was confident, even cocky about her progress. She bragged she'd show off her weight loss at the next checkup. But reality, my friends, is a brutal teacher. Over 2 months, Jean lost just 8 pounds. 8. Was she even trying? Following the diet? Or just playing weight loss, hide and seek? Dr. Now's patience must be made of steel because anyone else would have thrown in the towel.
You were given the same goal as the first time to lose 100 pounds in 2 months.
Yes, sir.
Instead, you lost 8 pounds. The only positive with that is that at least you didn't gain, but it's not much of a loss. So what is your excuse this time?
I try to push myself as much as I possibly can, but I've started having a lot of pain with the lump on the side of my stomach. This is like really extremely painful, and my mom started having complications from a surgery she had last year.
What complications are you having, Barbara?
It's really bothering me.
Then came the tragedy. Jean's father passed away, plunging her into a grief so deep she abandoned her diet and sought comfort in food again. It's a vicious cycle, grief eating leading to weight gain, leading to more grief. It's enough to make you scream at the screen. Come on, Jean, pull it together. Can she, or is she destined to repeat this self-destructive loop?
The sheriffs told me that my dad, in fact, was deceased. It looked like he just went to sleep and just didn't wake up. I don't think it has really hit me. It's a lot to process. I'm worried about my mom. She's really upset.
Now, let's add another layer of drama. Jean's mother fell ill, leaving her to face gastric surgery alone. And in a twist that could only happen in real life, Jean sued the production company of My 600-Pound Life. She claimed they broke promises to cover her mother's medical expenses. It's like a legal drama and a reality show had a messy love child.
So we called to have a wellness check made on him. And they found him in his bed, and he had passed away. I just can't believe he's gone. And to be honest, the diet is the last thing I'm worried about right now. How can I really even worry about that when I'm going through one of the most painful moments of my life? But my mom is still recovering from her surgery. And I'm still getting over the last part of my infection. So we have to be careful.
Enjoying the drama so far? Give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you think Jean made Dr. Now snap, wait till you hear the story of Lacy Buckingham. Her journey takes drama to a whole new level with twists you won't believe. Lacy wasn't just facing a mountain of health issues like diabetes, sky-high cholesterol, and blood pressure that could blow a gasket. Nope, her bones were practically weeping under the massive weight they had to support. Imagine feeling like a lumbering T-Rex, taking giant steps but moving slower than a snail in molasses. Yep, that's Lacy's life in a nutshell.
Heat rash in places that never goes away no matter how clean I am. I have stabbing pain in my feet and really dull, crushing pain in my lower back. It's not a fun time. My right knee is the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I struggle with diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and it's all because of my weight.
Lacy's physical battles were just the tip of the iceberg. Her childhood was a minefield of emotional trauma, with a father who had more anger issues than a bull in a china shop, and a mother who made it clear that Lacy was an unwelcome surprise. Life wasn't exactly a bed of roses. Born despite her mom's IUD efforts, Lacy was often reminded she was the family's unwanted guest. If that doesn't mess with your head, I don't know what will.
When I was writing Christmas cards, I'd get really emotional. That told me, oh my gosh, I think I'm pregnant. Yeah. When I was very young, she told me that I was an IUD baby in an accident. It made me feel like a disaster. So my self-esteem was disgustingly low.
But the traumas didn't stop there. Now, imagine being in 3rd grade and experiencing something as horrific as rape, only to have your own mother dismiss your pain. That's when food became more than just sustenance for Lacy. It was her escape, her comfort. Food was the silent therapist who never judged or denied her.
And we were playing one day, and he wanted me to go to his house. And when I went over, his older brother lived in the basement, and I was dragged to the basement by my friend for his older brother to have sex with me. It was a horrific experience. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think anyone would believe me, so I never told anyone about this.
When Lacy first appeared on the show, she was tipping the scales at 593 pounds. Enter Ricky, her partner in crime. Ricky seemed like the real MVP, always ready to whip up a meal or help her with daily tasks. But let's be real here. Was he a supportive partner or just another enabler?
Not just to have somebody to help me, but because I know he loves me.
How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm just chatting with my sister. The girls say hi.
Hi, girls. These sandwiches are so finger-sucking good.
Thank you, babe.
It's the first time I feel loved, as with a boy, really.
Determined to turn her life around, Lacy met Dr. Now, who laid down the law with a daunting goal: lose 50 pounds in 1 month. Initially, she was off to a good start, but then life threw her some wicked curveballs. Missed appointments and a return to those comforting, albeit destructive eating habits had her sliding back into old patterns. The big question was, could she break free from years of emotional eating?
We'll break down a 1,200 calories a day, low-carb, high-protein diet that you need to follow completely.
Okay.
And understand to correct your eating habit. And I'm going to give you some exercises that you can do at home. And I want you to do those twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. So in 2 months, you need to lose 50 pounds. That won't be hard to do at all.
Okay.
Things got so tense between Lacy and Ricky that she ended up calling the cops on him and his sister, Sharon. She felt so unsafe around them that this showdown happened on the road back to Houston, leaving Lacy abandoned on the roadside. Talk about a dramatic twist.
Or in my case, she tried to blame me for abusing her.
Get whatever the she needs off my U-Haul, and her is gone. You want your it will be at the U-Haul place. Woman, you don't even know what you just did.
I'm not abuse a person. I am the realest, nicest.
But let's talk about the weight loss program. Lacy was supposed to be on a strict diet, but those pounds just refused to budge. Dr. Now gave her another shot at meeting her weight loss goals, but the universe had other plans. It became clear that sticking to the plan wasn't in the cards for Lacy, leading Dr. Now to make the tough decision to remove her from the program. She just couldn't commit to the necessary changes.
You know, you have the guidance that we give you, and you have to use that. And if you don't follow that, there's nothing we can do to change that, okay?
Yes.
So stick with the healthy eating habit. Read the stuff we gave you every night and check out and see what you did wrong, and don't make those mistakes tomorrow.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
You think you can do that?
Yes.
Keeny couldn't stand up by herself for more than a pitiful 45 seconds. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. Even a simple bathroom trip was like assembling a team for a moon landing. Her nieces, Alicia and Deja, were the MVPs of shower time, while her nephew played the critical role of walking assistant. Can you imagine needing a whole crew just to freshen up? It's mind-blowing how these everyday struggles pushed her to a path she never imagined.
I'm ready to get washed up.
Alicia is 16. If I'm gonna take a good shower, Alicia helps. Or if Deja's here, she helps. Deja is 19. And she's in college, so she's in and out of the house here. You can't be 600 pounds and have too much pride. If, your teenagers are helping you take a shower to keep you from smelling.
Now, let's hit the rewind button. By the tender age of 10, Keeny was already tipping the scales at over 150 pounds. By 13, she was cruising between 230 to 240 pounds. But despite her weight, high school was a breeze. She was dating, went to prom, and lived what she considered a normal, happy life. In her eyes, her weight was just a number, so she kept munching away, oblivious to the ticking time bomb inside her. Talk about blissful ignorance, right?
So I was happy in high school. I dated. I went to prom, so I didn't see a reason to change how I ate. So I kept eating more and gaining weight. And I graduated from high school at 17. I was well over 350 pounds, but I was still able to manage pretty well at that time. And I got a job at a nursing home after high school to start working and providing for myself.
After high school, Keeny got a job and moved out. But guess what? With her newfound independence came an escalation in her fast food adventures and binge eating sessions. Before long, 400 pounds was her new normal. Did she care? Not a bit. As long as she could move, everything was peachy in Keeny's world. But oh, how the plot thickens.
So my eating habits changed for the worse, and it was at that time my weight had gotten up to around 400 pounds. But I didn't feel bad because I could still move around pretty good. I was still moving and working and, walking around and not hurting. Just didn't really bother me.
Keeny had dreams of starting a bigger family, but her weight was causing infertility and other health issues. Then life decided to hit her with a double whammy. She lost her mom and a tornado destroyed her house. Talk about a rough patch. These tough times drove her to seek comfort in food even more. You won't believe how these adversities pushed her towards making a life-changing decision.
I just always figured that once I found someone that I wanted to settle down with, I'd get pregnant, we'd have kids, we'd go on with life. But I wasn't getting pregnant. I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it did attribute to weight gain. And that devastated me. My husband never pressured me about my weight, about giving him children. I just wanted to give him children.
At 41, Keeny finally decided it was time for a change and sought out the legendary Dr. Now. Her starting weight? A jaw-dropping 614 pounds. Dr. Now, with his no-nonsense attitude, prescribed a strict 1,200-calorie diet and daily exercise, setting an ambitious goal of shedding 75 pounds in 2 months. Easier said than done, especially when you're the one in charge of food at home. Can you smell the irony?
The dynamic seems to be that you get everyone to enable you, and you use them as a crutch, and it sounds like that is affecting their health too. So, would you agree with that?
I'll use them as a crutch because I do prepare food for my family, and I do prepare large quantities of food for my family. But we could choose better options.
Okay.
I could choose better options because I'm the one that.
By her second visit, Keeny weighed 592 pounds. She had only lost 22 pounds in 2 months instead of the target of 75. When Dr. Now confronted her, she got defensive, saying, "You're not a magician, and you're not a god. You're just a doctor." Oh, the tension in that room could cut through steel.
I never asked you for magic. You're not a magician and you are not God. You are a doctor.
You're exactly right. I'm the doctor who's telling you how to get healthy. So what's the purpose of you coming and seeing us and not following the diet and do what you need to save your life? Because everything is up to you. It's not up to us.
Stop it. Stop.
Despite the rocky start, Keeny agreed to stick to the 1,200-calorie diet. Dr. Now sent her to a psychotherapist, Dr. Paradise, who suggested she write a letter to her late mom to process her grief. It was a therapeutic move to help Keeny deal with her emotional baggage. Let's see if it would help her turn things around.
I was never able to get any closure from losing her because of my size. I couldn't go to her burial and say goodbye. And it's one of my biggest regrets that I let my weight get so out of hand that I couldn't do that. So I want to make that right. And I want to say all the things I never got to say to her.
Keeny's emotional and physical transformation journey reached a critical milestone. By her third appointment, she weighed 543 pounds and was given a new goal. But the dreams of surgery were put on hold due to health concerns signaled by high white blood cell counts. The big question remained: would her dreams of a new beginning ever come true? Before you go, if you loved watching Dr. Now handle these outrageous situations, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more jaw-dropping stories from My 600 Pounds Life. Drop a comment below on which moment shocked you the most and share this video with your friends to spread the drama. Stay tuned for more incredible transformations and unforgettable moments.
Rapid heartbeat and atrial fibrillation, and that is something that we need to be concerned, because with that issue, you won't survive surgery. And the reality is, with this issue, your body is getting close to a breaking point. And right now, you're not going to live very long unless you lose a lot more weight before things get worse. And we're not going to be able to do surgery to help you with that until you lose enough weight to alleviate the strain on your heart to where you would be able to survive it. You get that?
Yes, sir.